What is good, YouTube? It's your boy, the Anime Anbu here, back again with part 4 of What If Naruto Was Like Minato, otherwise known as Return of the Flash on Wattpad. Again, in case you want to read this, as I cannot link it down below, I'm using the app, not the website. I don't get the link. But if you want to look it up, and support the author, that'd be much appreciated. Another thing that would be really appreciated is if you could comment down below, give me a little feedback. Oh, snap. Give me a little feedback, something like that. That'd be much appreciated. Or leave a like and subscribe, perhaps, But yeah, without further ado, let's get right on into it. Naruto and Hiruzen stared in bewilderment at what met their eyes. There were only 2 envelopes that were there. Naruto was a bit disappointed that there was only 2 envelopes remaining of his parents' legacy, but changed the direction of his thoughts immediately. He was taking something at face value, which he would never do. Perhaps it's the feelings I experienced last night. Emotions are clouding my judgment, he thought. Don't worry about it, Naruto. Feelings and thoughts such as those never truly fade away. You just learn to live with them. Besides, it happens to the best of them, Kurama reassured. Naruto noticed how Kurama excluded himself from the best of them and rose an eyebrow mentally. It does not happen to you? Kurama arrogantly puffed out his chest and declared, Of course not! I'm the Kyuubi no Kitsune, boy. A being such as I am above such petty things. Naruto ignored the pompous rambling of the fox and turned his attention back to the envelopes. He quickly took them from their place and checked carefully if there was anything left. Seeing he had taken all that there was, he closed the portrait. The seals glowed again, signifying the portrait had been locked back. A sudden thought struck Hiruzen, and he had to resist the urge to smack his forehead for what he was about to do. Why didn't I ask this earlier? Damn the forgetfulness that comes with this age. Hiruzen felt really bad, but he had to do this right now. Tentatively, he placed his hands on Naruto's shoulder, knocking the boy out of his trance. He was gazing at the envelopes as if they were the most precious things in the world, which they were. Naruto-kun, why weren't you at your room in the orphanage yesterday in the evening? He asked slowly, as if afraid to find out the answer to that question. Naruto could not help the flinch that the question brought, but he had told Gigi about how he found out his parents' identity last night. He had conveniently forgot to mention that he'd been kicked out by the orphanage. He had hoped that Gigi would not ask him about that. In a mumble that Hiruzen barely understood, the blonde said, The matron kicked me out yesterday evening. Hiruzen suspected that the matron would have deliberately kept Naruto out of the orphanage last night because of the festival, but did not expect him to be thrown out of the orphanage. White-hot anger flooded his veins that he barely restrained from letting it out as killer intent. How dare they? How dare that stupid woman do such a vile thing? Throwing a 5-year-old out, knowing he would be killed. Why is the civilian population of this village so stupid? It's like they don't trust Minato's skills at all. He raged inside his mind. However, he knew he was equally at fault. He should have never announced Naruto's status as the Jinchuriki of the Kyuubi at all. Naruto would have lived comfortably without experiencing the hatred of the villagers. Naruto watched his Gigi's face carefully for any sign of anger. Fortunately, years of being a shinobi and Hokage allowed Hiruzen to keep a neutral face, but Naruto could tell the subconscious tightening of Gigi's hand on his shoulder that he was angry. I see, was all he said before visibly collecting himself. Now to address the main issue. He looked at Naruto with a grave look on his face. Naruto, now that is out of the way, we have to find a new place for you to live. The words were out of his mouth before he could stop them. Not another orphanage, Gigi! Hiruzen stared at the desperate look Naruto was giving him. To be honest, he was scared that one day it would come to this. And surprisingly, he agreed with Naruto. He did not want Naruto to live anywhere he would be hated. Unfortunately, that left only one option. Naruto, that means you have to live alone, he said, silently wishing he could take the boy in himself. Unfortunately, he could not. That dratted civilian council was in his way. Naruto crossed his hands over his chest defensively, not hesitating for a moment to answer. Better than living in some place where I'm treated with bias. He was looking at Hiruzen, chin tilted upwards, in a way only children could to show their stubbornness. Oh, Kushina, his stubbornness reminds me so much of you, he recalled with a sad smile. He knew Naruto would not budge from this point. Sighing, he said, But are you sure you will be able to take care of yourself? You will have to cook for yourself, bring food for yourself, clean clothes, keep your home clean, which is very hard considering the size of this house, he explained wisely. However, all that wisdom was thrown out the window when he noticed the look that Naruto was giving him. His face was set in a deadpan stare, an eyebrow raised. He found himself feeling quite stupid when Naruto kept looking at him like that, the deadpan never leaving. He was reminded of another blonde who used to make many people feel stupid with the same look on his face. Naruto spoke seriously, as if he had not noticed how uncomfortable the man was at all. Gigi, when you consider the size of this house, it is clear that no single person could take care of a place such as this by himself. I never said I wanted to live here. A small apartment would do. Besides, his expression turned a bit sad. This house is so big that the loneliness will start to bother me, considering whose house this was in the first place. Hiruzen was surprised at the maturity that Naruto was showing. People thrice his age aren't this mature, he thought with amazement. No matter how many times he saw Naruto, he was always stunned at how mature Naruto was his age. Considering his options, he said, "Give me 1 hour, Naruto. I'm positive I can find an apartment big enough just for you. Until then, I assume you would want to read the contents of the letters," he said, giving a significant glance, complete with the chin down and eyebrows raised. I don't know if you heard that, that's my dog. Naruto suddenly seemed to remember about the envelopes. His hand shot to his lower pocket where he had put them somewhere between his talk with Gigi. He looked up and replied, "Yes, Gigi, that will do." He left after that, muttering things about a matron and execution. After Gigi left, Naruto reached for the first letter that came into his hand. He read the kanji in the letter with wide eyes. "Mother," it said. Hand shaking because of nerves, he opened the letter. Naruto was a pretty fast reader, not because he was eager to finish the books early, more like he was forced to become a fast reader. The matron of the orphanage would give him books, but would take them away very quickly, which is why he forced himself to become a fast reader. But this letter was read very slowly, wanting to taste each word of his mother. I can't do a voice, but you're going to get the gist. Dear Naruto, oh my sweet little child, how I wish I were alive to see you grow into a fine young man like your father. I'm writing this letter in case something happens to us and you are left alone. If you are reading this, it means that we are dead and we are so sorry for leaving you, baby. Yikes. First things first, I love you with all my heart, Naruto. A mother never stops loving her child, even in death. Know that I am still watching over you. And another thing, don't you dare visit me unless you're 110 years old. I want you to live a full and happy life and only die of old age. Second, if you decide to become a shinobi, remember the 3 vices of shinobi life. First is alcohol. Be responsible about it and don't become a drunk. Second is money. Use it responsibly and try not to waste it. If you do want to waste it, better do it on your wife. The third is women. And as your mother, I absolutely forbid you to become a pervert and a womanizer. Respect women and also find a woman you love and want to spend your life with. Don't settle for anything else. At the bottom of this letter, you will see 2 kanji. The first one contains my sword, if you would ever decide to pick up kenjutsu. The second contains the ring with which your father proposed me with. Give it to the girl you believe will love you for the rest of your life. Once again, your father and I love you, no matter what. Remember that, Naruto. With love, Kushina Uzumaki. P.S. Learn Fuin Jutsu. The Uzumakis were known for it, and your father mastered it as well. I have left 10 volumes of Fuin Jutsu that I got from the Uzumaki archives. Everything you need to become a master. Best of luck. That was my best impression. I'm so sorry. That was like my best. That was the best voice I could do. If it wasn't, up to par, I understand, but I tried my hardest. But, yeah, let me continue. Naruto was dumbfounded after reading the letter from his mother. I'm just going to change that. He could not find the words to express how fulfilling and satisfying and amazing it was to hear words from his mother, even if it was on a letter. He saw in the kanji that his mother mentioned and smiled his face-splitting grin at that. His mother was awesome. He was so hyped up from reading his mother's letter that he almost forgot about his father's. He put the letter down gently, as if it were made of glass, and picked his father's letter up. Dear Naruto, if you are reading this letter, then it means that I am no longer among the living. I desperately hope that your mother is with you, but if that is not the case, allow me to explain a few things to you. My name is Minato Namikaze, and as you have probably guessed, the Yondaime Hokage. If you already know this, then you are probably in the academy. If not, it is good to read. Keep it up. If you did not, yikes. If you did not know about my identity as your father before this letter, please don't be upset at the Sandaime Hokage. I left him specific instructions that you were to be told about my identity only if you were a Chunin or married. I made many enemies during the Third Great Shinobi War, especially from Iwa. If people were to know about it, you would be a prime target for all of my enemies. I just want you to know that even if you are yet to be born, I love you with all my heart. It was the happiest day of my life when your mother announced that she was pregnant with you. Since I was an orphan, I really don't have any special jutsu to give you, but what I have left, I hope you master them. The improved notes I made from scratch in my quest to learn and master the Nidaime Sama's Hiraishin no Jutsu are in the first kanji at the bottom of this letter. Also, I leave the Rasengan to you, in hopes that you can complete it, something that I could never do. It is in the second kanji. Your mother was Kushina Uzumaki, and she was the loveliest and one of the most compassionate women I've ever met in my life. She is perhaps the only one who loves you more than I do. I have left you another surprise in the basement of this house, something of my own design and perhaps my greatest Fuinjutsu achievement yet, other than mastering the 8 trigram ceiling style. The details are in the basement. Enjoy! With all love in the world, Dad. And I didn't even try to do an impression, but I just tried to slow it down a little bit, let each word sink. But let me continue and get sidetracked. Naruto did not know when he had started crying, but he did not care. He could feel his parents' love from the letter. He could almost see them smiling down on him from above. He wiped his tears off, a determined glint in his eyes. He would do his parents proud. He looked up and noticed that only a little over 5 minutes had passed. Good. A lot of time to explore. He nudged his partner mentally. Hey, Kurama, you awake? We can finally explore the house. All he heard was a deep snore reverberating in his mindscape that caused Naruto to sweat drop. How the hell was Kurama sleeping? He was awake just 10 minutes ago. It's impossible to fall asleep that quickly when all you do is laze around and not even get tired. He decided to leave the snoring fox alone and explore by himself. He found out that the room he slept the previous night in was his parents' room. Surprisingly, he found out that it was a little easier to not cry now. He found out that there were 4 bedrooms in total, his parents' and his on the first floor, the guest bedroom on the second floor. One good thing about his and his parents' bedrooms was that they had balconies attached to them. He got out of the house and was stupefied at the space in the back of the house. It was almost 1/4 the size of a training ground, and Konoha's training grounds were very large. He then finally decided to explore the basement, curious about the gift his father had left for him. Climbing down the stairs, he saw the basement and whistled lowly, impressed with his father even more. He connected the dots and had to chuckle at how clever his father was. The basement was almost the size of their backyard, if only a bit smaller. But what was interesting was that there was a glass screen separating a large part of the basement from him. And just below the screen there was a panel with 7 kanjis, each representing the numbers 1 to 7. He was a bit confused at that, and further, when he saw a large seal array of the ceiling of the basement on the other side of the glass. He turned around hoping to find something that would explain what the hell he was looking at. He spotted a notebook labeled Training Manual and picked it up. He found another note from his father. Dear Naruto, this is a training manual for what you are currently looking at, my greatest achievement till the date. This is a training room I have designed to improve my taijutsu. While not weak at it, I was not exactly strong either. I designed it and incorporated several taijutsu styles courtesy of Guy and Kakashi If you ever meet Guy, just be a little cautious. He's always a bit too much. You must have noticed the 7 kanjis on the panel. They are the 7 levels of training, each more difficult than the rest. I must advise you not to immediately go in there, even if you have learned the taijutsu style already. I have designed this training room in synchronization to resistance seals. You must only start if you have mastered the 6th level of resistance seals. If you are able to move comfortably at that level, you may begin from the 1st level. As you move on to a higher resistance, you can move on to the next level. For example, if you have mastered the 7th level of resistance, you can safely try the 2nd level of the training room. I have left a scroll of the taijutsu style I created for myself. If you want it, you can learn it. It's up to you. Or you can create a style for yourself. Remember, whatever fighting style you learn, it should be the symbolization of the 5 main elements of nature. It should be as aggressive as fire, as sharp as wind, as fast as lightning, as strong as earth, and as fluid as water. Good luck, Dad. Naruto was amazed at the end of the letter. His dad created a whole training room with simulations with Fuin Jutsu. From what he read until now, Fuin Jutsu is perhaps the most versatile art among all ninja arts. Anything is possible with Fuin Jutsu. He started making plans on how he was going to proceed when his keen ears picked up a voice calling his name. Gigi must be back, he thought. As he raced back upwards, closing the door of the basement behind him, he took the letters with him, stuffing them in his pockets and walking to the gate. I thought they were already in his pockets. Okay, opening it to talk to Gigi. Ah, Naruto, he greeted. I trust that you have explored the house. Naruto smiled. It's great. Hiruzen chuckled. Good, good. Now, as you said, I have found an apartment for you. Naruto gave the smallest of nods. So, can I go there and see it? Hiruzen nodded. I'll take you there myself. Gripping Naruto's shoulder firmly, he vanished in a shun swing. Shunshin? Shun swing? I don't know, man. Appearing in front of a building, Hiruzen guided Naruto in. I've already stocked it with what you might need, he explained as they arrived on the top floor. Stopping in front of the door, Hiruzen pushed the door and let Naruto and himself in. The first thought that Naruto had upon seeing his apartment was that it was small, just big enough for him. The second was that it was perfect. The third was awe, seeing that it was stocked with a bed, a dining table, a kitchen with a stove and a refrigerator, and a bedroom with a bathroom and an attached balcony. The bedroom even had 2 racks for clothes and other belongings. Hiruzen gave a small smile, seeing how Naruto was awed like any other child when something new was given to them. Sorry. You can stay here until you get married. After that, you can move into your parents' home. He waited on the sofa for Naruto to finish exploring the apartment, which was not long enough. He stood up when Naruto walked in the living room. So, how is it? He was totally unprepared for Naruto to come bowling over to him, wrapping his arms around him in a hug that sent all the air out of his lungs. Only bracing himself at the last second caused him to prevent falling over backwards. Instead, he wrapped his arms around the boy in a bear hug. Naruto separated first, unshed tears in his eyes. It's perfect, Gigi. Thank you so much. Hiruzen smiled, relieved that Naruto liked it. Now, before I go, here is your monthly stipend, he said, handing over a wad of notes. This is 12,000 yen. Spend it wisely. Is there anything else you need before I go? Naruto thought for a moment and said, his face the epitome of seriousness. A cooking book would be nice. Wait. One sec. I just lost it. Alright, I'm back. Roaming the streets in the evening, Naruto thought back to the afternoon's conversation. The old man had almost face-faulted at Naruto's request. When asked why he wanted a cooking book, Naruto responded with his signature, making you feel stupid with just a look. He made the Hokage sweat for a minute before answering that he wanted to learn cooking because he did not want to waste his money eating outside, where he would be outrageously overpriced. That brought him to his main problem. Although Gigi had stocked his fridge with all healthy foods, it would eventually be finished and he would have to buy more, which meant he would be overpriced for every item he bought. He sighed, shaking his head at the villager's stupidity. Really? Just because Kurama lived inside him did not mean he was Kurama. Just like when you put sweets in a box and close it, that box does not become the sweets itself. And quite frankly, Kurama felt insulted that because Naruto was called a demon instead of him. I'm the only demon here. Damn it, he always said. That, in turn, reminded him of another matter. He spoke inside. Hey, Kurama, I need your help. It was almost a minute before the Biju responded, "With what, brat?" Naruto honestly did not mind Kurama calling him a brat. He would prefer it over Demon Boy any day. Also, it warmed his heart every time he heard it because the fondness in the voice was as clear as day. "I need your help in unlocking my chakra," he replied. Kurama, now fully awake from his nap, raised an eyebrow. "Why now? You could unlock it when you entered the academy like everyone else." Resolutely shaking his head, Naruto replied, "No! When I enter the academy, I want to be ahead of everyone, not with everyone. And if I have to start my training to become a shinobi with all the materials from mom and dad, I will start now." Kurama released a sigh. He hated it sometimes when Naruto acted like his mother. Kushina was infuriating, the tomato brat that she was. "Okay, head to one of the training fields," he instructed. Naruto nodded before changing directions towards the training field. He entered the first one he saw and ensured that no one was around. He sat down in an Indian position, entering a meditative trance and waiting for a pull into his mindscape from Kurama. He did not have to wait long, but did not see a certain purple-haired kunoichi looking at him curiously from the entrance of the training grounds. Yeah, okay. Uncle Mitarashi was a Tokubetsu Jonin of Konoha. Specialized in interrogation and worked directly under Ibiki Marino, the famed interrogator of Konoha. She was powerful. After all, being a former apprentice of one of the Densetsu no Sani in Orochimaru. Just because she was Orochimaru's apprentice meant she was given the kind of treatment that should honestly be reserved for the likes of Orochimaru. She was called the Snake Bitch by the populace of Konoha. But she took it head on and made a fearful reputation for herself, ensuring the villagers kept their distance. She also knew that one another suffered the same treatment at the hands of the villagers. But she was not that stupid to believe that the blonde would be Kyuubi in human form. He intrigued her. The way he endured the hatred of the villagers and never backed down, for a 5-year-old, that was seriously impressive. So when she saw the blonde going towards the training field, her interest in him was piqued. She decided to follow him to see what was going on, what he was going to do. She saw how he observed his surroundings and decided to humor him by simply being hidden at the entrance, out of sight for him, but visible to anyone else. "What the hell is this boy doing?" she thought with a raised eyebrow. Naruto arrived in his mindscape and saw Kurama resting at the shore of a very large body of water. One he knew was not there before. "Where the hell did that come from?" he thought as he approached Kurama. Kurama sensed his approach and opened his eyes, looking at Naruto with an intense look. "Naruto, do you know what this is?" he asked, gesturing to the water body. Naruto shook his head, seeing that Kurama explained. "This water body is the representation of your chakra. But before we begin to unlock your chakra, I discovered something very interesting about your body." Smiling at the end, Naruto tilted his head to the side. "What?" Kurama was as blunt as a hammer. "You don't have chakra coils in your body, kid." Naruto's reaction was priceless. "What?" Kurama chuckled. Naruto's reaction to surprises was turning out to be very amusing. Oh, that's it. Well, yeah. Even the author says sorry. Couldn't resist the cliffhanger. So that was part 4 of What If Naruto Was Like Minato, otherwise known as Return of the Flash. It is on Wattpad again. I don't know how many times I'm going to say that, but I'm definitely going to say it a bunch, seeing as I kind of have to, give credit to where it's due. And, Pat McAfee. And, with that, it'd be much appreciated if you could subscribe, and maybe leave a comment. That would be really appreciated. And if you made it all the way through the end of the video, let me know. Well, all right, we'll deal with this one. What's 2 plus 2? Everybody knows that one. You can literally be a child and know this one. So I better see 4s in the comments if you made it to the end of the video. And with that, shoot, I'm out.